Hey guys, welcome. Welcome to a new webinar. In this webinar, we're going to talk about how to improve Project 5. So guys, I think it is very important for you to try to make an even better project, to try to do a project that does not only meet all the specifications in the project review rubric, but that goes beyond that. Okay. The most important thing is that your project is as closest as it can to a real application, and that your project could be used in a real case. Remember that this is going to be a project that you're going to use in your portfolio. So you're going to show this project to companies that are recruiting you, or also if you're going to work in freelance, you're going to show this project to a potential client. Clients and companies are looking for project portfolio projects that are ready to use for the industry and that are functional projects that show what you can do. The more that a project looks like a real website, a real product, a real application, the more your project, the more viable your project is going to be. So guys, I want to give you some tips on how you could improve your project. There are 4 areas that I think you could improve your project. The first, the UI. The second, the smart contracts. The third, the functional requirements, and other. I want to start talking about the UI. The UI is the user interface. The user interface is built of many things. I wanted to describe some of the things that you could try to improve on the UI level. First of all, you could improve the UI by using frameworks like React and Angular. These are 2 frameworks that are used in the industry to develop real website applications. So recruiters and potential freelance clients may look for people that not only have a knowledge in creating web applications in blockchain and that have good knowledge of smart contracts in Ethereum, but also people who can integrate smart contracts with React or Angular for creating web applications. Also, there is a Truffle, the framework that we use to develop our smart contracts, has a very, very interesting and useful library for creating web applications and UIs. That framework is called Drizzle, and I really invite you to use it. On the other hand, the UI can also be improved in the design part. You can improve the typography, the colors, the graphic design, and the HCI. And HCI is the human-computer interaction. So you could make your design more friendly for humans and with better feedback. On frameworks, as I mentioned, there are 2 important frameworks, Angular and React. These are the 2 most popular frameworks that you're going to see in the industry for developing web applications, and it would be required for you if you're going to create in a company or in a freelance project a web app application. It may be a requirement to develop them using Angular or React. What is React? React is a front-end framework for developing applications. You can create front-end web apps with it. Where you can learn it? Well, in Udacity we have a really good course. There is an annual degree just for React, and I really recommend that you try to look for it if you're interested in learning more about it and learning how could you improve your smart contract applications using React. On the other hand, there is another website that is good, that is FreeCodeCamp. You could use FreeCodeCamp from trying to learn some of the basics, but if you want to dig more into it, I really recommend the Nano Degree. Also, you can find some important and valuable guides, tutorials, and documentation in the official page of React. I want to talk about the library created by Truffle, specialized for React. Gristle is a collection of front-end libraries that make writing a DApp user interface easier and more predictable. So I really recommend that you try to use this collection of libraries developed by Truffle to be able to help you to develop better web applications, decentralized web applications. Now, the other big framework, Angular. What is Angular? Angular is a framework for developing web applications. It's one of the most popular and it's a framework from Google. You can build applications with Angular and reuse your code and abilities to build with apps for any deployment target. You can use it for web, for more web, for native mobile, and native desktop. Where you can learn more about it? You can learn more about it in the official page of Angular. There are really cool resources and I really recommend that you try to use it. On the other hand, there are also very good courses in Udemy. Try to look at them. I really recommend it. Now I want to talk about other things that you can improve. I want to talk about IPFS. It is a distributed web file system where you could it is a peer-to-peer hypermedia protocol to make the web faster, safer, and more. In there, you can save the images for your websites. Also, you can save the websites, your static websites there. So it is useful for storing in a decentralized form files for your website. These are some of the use cases where you can might find helpful to use IPFS. So you can store things. You can develop web applications using IPFS, and you can store your content. I want to talk about functional requirements. These are some ideas of some extra functional requirements that you could add to improve your website. The first is to add the story of a star. You could fetch from an API the story of the star or store the information of stars. These are some examples of the story of stars. You can also show a list of stars. You can show all the stars that you have created with all the information, just like in this table. Another good idea is for you to show the image of a star. So you can let the user upload the image of a star and store it in a system like IPSF. And also, you can store the hash of the image. Well guys, these are some good ideas for you to try to improve even further your web application, your decentralized web application. Remember that the goal is to make your project as close to a real web application as possible. Try to do a project that you think could be used in the real world and that is of good enough that someone would think that it is a real decentralized application. Okay guys, thank you very much and see you in the next webinar.